Hello and welcome to Global Flyer. Today, we're taking to the skies to revisit a legend, an icon of aviation that promised to shrink the world and let us have breakfast in London and lunch in New York. This is the story of the rise and fall of the magnificent Concorde. Our story begins in the 1950s, a time of incredible optimism and technological ambition. Supersonic travel was the next frontier, and several nations were racing to conquer it. On November 29, 1962, Britain and France, longtime rivals, signed a historic agreement to jointly develop a supersonic transport aircraft. This partnership, a blend of British engineering and French elegance, gave birth to Concorde, a name meaning agreement or harmony. The challenge was immense. They needed to build an aircraft that could fly faster than a rifle bullet, at an altitude where you could see the curvature of the Earth. The result was a masterpiece of design. Concorde's most iconic feature was its slender delta wing, a shape meticulously engineered for both high-speed supersonic flight and stable low-speed landings. Then there was the famous droop snoot nose. It was lowered for takeoff and landing to give the pilots a clear view of the runway, then raised to its streamlined position for supersonic cruise. Powering this marvel were four massive Rolls-Royce Snecma Olympus 593 engines, fitted with afterburners, the same technology used in military fighter jets. These engines could propel Concorde to Mach 2.04, over twice the speed of sound, or about 1,354 miles per hour. This meant a flight from Paris to New York, which normally took 8 hours, could be completed in under 3.5. Passengers would literally arrive before they had technically departed, thanks to the time difference. Stepping aboard Concorde was like entering an exclusive club, with only about 100 seats. The cabin was narrow, but the experience was pure luxury. Passengers sipped champagne and dined on gourmet meals while cruising at 60,000 feet on the very edge of space. Flying on Concorde was a status symbol, attracting celebrities, royalty, and top business executives. It was the ultimate way to travel, a symbol of prestige and technological supremacy. For a while, it seemed like the future of air travel had truly arrived. But beneath the glamour, storm clouds were gathering. The very technology that made Concorde a marvel also made it incredibly expensive. The development costs had spiraled, and the aircraft itself was a gas guzzler, burning a colossal amount of fuel. The initial excitement from airlines worldwide began to fade. At its peak, over 100 options were placed by 16 different airlines. However, the 1973 oil crisis sent fuel prices soaring, and the economic case for a supersonic jet began to crumble. Most airlines cancelled their orders, leaving only British Airways and Air France to fly the plane. Concorde also faced significant operational hurdles. Its powerful engines created a deafening sonic boom when it broke the sound barrier. This sonic boom, a continuous thunder-like noise that trailed the aircraft, led to widespread public complaints. As a result, Concorde was banned from flying supersonic over land in many countries, including the United States. This severely restricted its potential routes, limiting it primarily to transatlantic flights between London or Paris and New York or Washington. DC, it could shrink the Atlantic, but not the continents. For over 2 decades, Concorde operated with an impeccable safety record. It was one of the safest aircraft ever to fly. But on July 25, 2000, tragedy struck. Air France Flight 4590, taking off from Paris, ran over a piece of metal debris left on the runway from another aircraft. A tire exploded, sending rubber fragments into the wing and fuel tank, sparking a catastrophic fire. The aircraft crashed just minutes after takeoff, resulting in the loss of all 109 people on board and 4 on the ground. The crash was a devastating blow to Concorde's image of invincibility. The entire fleet was grounded while modifications were made, including stronger tires and Kevlar lining for the fuel tanks. Concorde did return to service in late 2001, but it was flying into a completely different world. The post-9/11 aviation environment was one of fear and economic downturn. Air travel numbers plummeted, especially in the premium first-class market that was Concorde's lifeblood. The high operating costs, coupled with dwindling passenger numbers and rising maintenance expenses for an aging fleet, created a perfect storm. The economics no longer made sense. On April 10, 2003, Air France and British Airways jointly announced that they would be retiring Concorde later that year. The dream was over. On October 24, 2003, British Airways operated the final commercial Concorde flight, touching down at London Heathrow to a huge crowd of emotional onlookers. After 27 years of service, the Queen of the Skies was grounded for good. Today, the remaining Concorde aircraft are preserved in museums around the world. From the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum in New York to the Musée de l'Air et de l'Espace in Paris, they stand as silent monuments to a bolder era of aviation, a time when we dared to fly faster than the sun. Concorde was more than just a plane. It was a beautiful, ambitious, and ultimately flawed dream. It proved that supersonic passenger travel was possible, but it also showed us the immense economic and environmental challenges. While it may have been a commercial failure as a technological achievement, it remains unparalleled. It was a brief, brilliant glimpse into a future that never quite arrived. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of the Concorde. What are your memories of this incredible aircraft? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Global Flyer for more stories from the world of aviation. Fly safe and see you next time.